It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right on the show today, has the Kanpur test thrown a spanner in the works for the Indian men's cricket team, even as they attempt to somehow salvage a win here? What do they need to do from here on to qualify for the final of the World Test Championships? And how disappointed are fans in Kanpur, for whom it has been mostly a bit of a damp squib? In football, fans are not disappointed, but enraged. Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid game was interrupted by rowdy Atletico fans who attacked Real Madrid player. But this is not the first instance. Are they setting the wrong example for football fans the world over? And India's D. Gukesh, chess champion, unleashes a fun side to the world and has shocked both friends and fans alike. Wait to know more, but first, let's take a look at the headlines. Starting with cricket, the retention rules for the Indian Premier League 2025 have been announced. The IPL teams can now retain up to 6 players for the next season. Each team will have a purse of rupees 120 crores, which is about $14.3 million for the auction. It's an increase of by 20 crores this season. BCCI also announced a new rule that states that the salary of foreign players cannot cross the sum fetched by every Indian player. Over in football and the Premier League, 10 men Manchester United tasted a humiliating 3-0 loss against Tottenham Hotspurs at home. Spurs scored the opener in the first half through Mickey van der Ven. United captain Bruno Fernandes was shown a red card in the 42nd minute of the first half. In the second half, Tottenham targeted the depleted United squad. Dejan Kulusevski and Dominic Solanke scored the other 2 goals. Unbeaten streak 1-0 against Miami during an MLS match. Lionel Messi came to the rescue and scored in the 67th minute to settle the game at 1-1. It was Messi's 15th goal in 16 league matches this season. And in tennis, the World Anti-Doping Agency, or WADA, is seeking a long ban for Yannick Sinner, world number 1. WADA has appealed ITIA's decision to let off Sinner at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Earlier, Sinner was cleared of any wrongdoings for testing positive for a banned substance twice. WADA is seeking a ban of up to 2 years against Sinner. Wrapping it up with some more cricket news, Ireland have won their first ever T20 international against South Africa. Batting first, Ireland scored 195 for 6 in the first innings. Ross Adair smashed a century of 57 balls. In response, South Africa finished 185 in their 20 overs. The 2-match series ended in a 1-all draw. The second test between India and Bangladesh's men's cricket teams is a key contest from the Indian perspective in particular. The race to the World Test Championships final is heating up, and a win here for India is imperative. But that looks absolutely bleak, a little bleaker, of course, as we are heading to a draw in all likelihood, though India is pushing hard. But there are a few questions that need to be answered. 1. What has gone wrong with the venue? How come no play was possible for most of the first 3 days, despite no rain on 2 of those 3 days? Could the test have been picked and played elsewhere? Then, of course, the important aspect of the scenarios. What does India need to do to ensure they stay on course to making it to that World Test Championship final? Many questions here, and I'll tackle them one at a time. Let's talk about what happened over the 4 days, including today, that has concluded in Kanpur. Day 1, there was some cricket that was played, but conditions were a little wet. As I had mentioned earlier, there were predictions of rain and the conditions were quite overcast. Play was called off due to bad light, and then, of course, came the rains. Only 35 overs were managed to be bowled. Bangladesh were batting first. With the constant breaks, the rains lashed the city of Kanpur. The monsoon has been overstaying its welcome this particular season, and Kanpur's Green Park faced the brunt of all of this. Day 2, no rain from 8 a.m. onwards, yet the pitch was covered, damp patches were all seen through the ground, stumps thrown down, paintwork was getting done on certain parts of the pitch. Umpires kept coming out to inspect the field of play, and ultimately there was no play declared on day 2.
They gave us 3 different times for inspection, but never told us what is the issue. I told them that you can start the match, but if you have any concern, let me know.
Clearly, the issue was the lack of proper facilities to make sure that the test would get underway. But the most endearing aspect here was the spirit of the fans. Even though the teams themselves failed even to so much as turn up to the ground on day 2, fans were gathered in huge numbers. They tried to keep themselves busy despite the rains, keep themselves entertained with chants and beating of the drums. It was indeed a very heartwarming sight.
I am feeling bad. The game should have continued for all 5 days. It's the UPC and the match organizers who should be blamed. We are coming from different parts of the state and investing money to watch the match, but of no use.
Yes, there was some bit of disappointment because on day 3, the off-field drama continued. Questions were being raised on just how prepared, or rather ill-prepared, Green Park really was as a venue to host this test match. Knowing the predictions, in fact, the association claimed they were doing their best. Their 2 super soppers were working full-time, but they eventually had to borrow a third from the Lucknow venue to try and speed up the process of drying the ground. The drainage system, of course, had been a big worry for the association, and it proved to be a bit of a disaster for them, leaving fans quite enraged on social media. Today was day 4, and both India and Bangladesh tried their best to give fans some sort of a contest, something to look forward to. So there was some play that happened today. In fact, they extended the duration of the day's play to get some more time, get some more overs that they'd missed over the course of the test so far. And maybe India has just about opened the door to try and sneak in a win somehow, with one more day to go in this very, very strangely contested test. But really, this throws open the question of why everyone involved in drawing up the schedule was tied to only this particular venue, a venue that has proved to be problematic in the past. We've mentioned it before. It happened when they hosted the India-New Zealand test last. Now, could we have had another venue instead of this one? Yes, Lucknow's Ekana Stadium. Great facilities. It was a new stadium. Who was most affected by this? That becomes the next follow-up question after this. The fans, of course. They came out in hordes to watch Test cricket. They got some of it today, though. But a format that experts keep saying will die down soon, despite a section of the stands being closed out because of the infrastructure and the danger of that particular stand, balcony C, that we mentioned collapsing. Despite all of these concerns, fans still turned up, spending money and catching close to no action for 3 days. Now, who else does this impact? Why Team India, of course. So let's look at how the outcome of this rain-hit test could affect India's chances depending on the result. Now, they currently are topping the points table in the race to the World Test Championships finale. A 2-0 whitewash here against Bangladesh would strengthen India's chances to make it to the final. With India needing 3 more wins alone, and we say it as if it's easy, but 3 wins definitely from the 5 matches coming up later. Now, their next, of course, is a series against New Zealand and at home. And if India were to share these 6 points from this test, if it ends up in a draw, that is. So that will be 6 points shared between India and Bangladesh. This equation then makes it a little complicated for India thereon, because they will not only need to do a clean sweep of the New Zealand series that's coming up, but also win at least 2 of the matches that they play against Australia. That's the all-critical and intense Border Gavaskar series. It's an away series, so there will be a lot riding on this one against Bangladesh. So tomorrow, day 5, so critical for India to try and ease things up when they take on teams that have been very, very difficult and trying in the past, like Australia. So a lot hinges on how day 5 tomorrow will pan out. Spanish football, so full of grace, skills, and dominated by technique rather than aggressive play. But as elegant as their football looks and seems, the Spanish fan culture is just as messy and toxic. And leading that practice is the capital city, Madrid. The Madrid derby displayed how toxic the Spanish football fans can be. The game between Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid was expected to be a high-octane clash. The controversial match, though, ended in a 1-all draw. But more than the aggression from players on the pitch, the match will be remembered for the hostile behaviour of the fans. After Real Madrid took the lead in the 65th minute, Atletico Ultras, that's what we call those fans, the very, very passionate fans, almost on the point of being a little too aggressive, threw objects towards Real goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois. That led to pandemonium breaking out, where the match was suspended for close to 20 minutes. Atletico manager Diego Simeone requested fans to calm down, but Atletico fans didn't stop. Simeone was trying to ease the situation there. He even pointed to his head, asking the fans to cool down and behave a little more sensibly here, because he knew despite Atletico trailing, they looked good for a win out there. In any sport, momentum is key. This minor suspension led to a complete loss of that, not just for Real, but for Atletico too, who struggled to find that equalizer. Atletico eventually managed to score that 5 minutes into stoppage time. They were playing at home, the visitors were under pressure. Real Madrid last won a Laliga match against Atletico in 2022. Plus the absence of their star player Kylian Mbappe, who is out with an injury, meant Atletico were in the driver's seat. Fans thought otherwise. They reacted to the goal, in fact, the goal deficit, with aggression, throwing objects at the Real Madrid goalkeeper. That only added to Atletico's woes.
In the second half, I think we were playing well. I think we were in a good place when Real Madrid scored. And then this episode happened, which should not have happened. We need people who care about the club. The people who care about the club are those that warm up the team and push us. The people that create these kinds of situations are not with the club, because you're not helping your team by creating these types of situations.
The one key point that Simeone makes over there, more than what he said about the game, was about the way the fans were behaving. He's clearly distraught with that, and he believes that's what cost them the much-needed momentum and, of course, the game, and frankly, some face too. But maybe Simeone's anger stems from the fact that this isn't an isolated incident. Atletico fans are known for their ugly fandom. Just before the match, there was a hate campaign going on against Real Madrid player Vinicius Jr. Some Atletico fans, a bunch of them, had claimed that they would attend the game with masks on so that they could racially abuse the Brazilian without being identified. And it's shocking to see such claims being made on public platforms openly, because just last year, Vinicius faced some of the most brutal racist attacks by Atletico fans. They hung an effigy of Vinicius from a bridge. 4 people were charged after this incident, almost breaking Vinicius down. And just recently, a Mallorca fan who used racist insults against Vinicius was given a 12-month suspended sentence. meaning the fan was given a year-long jail term but was let go of because he apologized to Vinicius. And fans do not want to learn from this episode. That's what we clearly are witnessing here. Or maybe they feel there is nothing wrong in targeting opposition players and being a little brutal about it. However they want to. And the question here, though, is for how long can this continue? Can fans enjoy the freedom of expression to torture and torment others, especially players? Recently, Vienna-based clubs Rapid Wien and Austria Wien banned away fans for their next 4 derbies. And they did this after the continuous crowd violence that they're witnessing. A violence that saw 13 people getting injured and chaos erupting. Volatile pictures that you just saw, and even in Cyprus, the very same thing. The government wants the away fans to be banned entirely because of the rowdy behavior that touring fans almost always end up displaying without fail. The situation isn't as bad in La Liga, of course, but it won't be too long before the association, the organizations, the people in charge, the governance will have to take strict action that would have impact, that will yield results. And that just won't be about football, because the fans make the sport, the continued support, the chants. They are part of the colorful fabric of any sport. They make up for the atmosphere. This is how impactful fans in football are. Atletico fans' behavior, though, has put a huge question mark on this, because football is not about embracing violence. There has to be a measured aggression, measured intensity. And here is the thing, even with whatever Vinicius Jr. went through at Atletico, he still chose to do this. Despite Atletico fans racially abusing him, tormenting him, Vinicius chose to respect that Atletico logo. He chose to walk around it. So if the player who was at the receiving end of all of this can still show some dignity towards the club, towards its culture, towards its legacy, maybe the fans should start acting with similar maturity too, to make watching the sport and playing it a very rewarding experience for everyone. D. Gukesh, a rising superstar in the chess world, is currently one of the heartthrobs of the country and someone the world is watching, is very keenly watching. The member of the Chess Olympiad winning team for India is known for his very nerdy, geeky side. The serious expressions, not even cracking a smile till he actually wins, and even then, it's very subdued. Ever imagine this demure 18-year-old grooving to a popular Tamil song, a regional number in India? No, right? Gukesh uploaded a video of him grooving to movie star Rajnikant's new hit single on his social media platform, sending fans and a lot of his friends into shock. Take a look.
For close to a year now, Gukesh has become one of the prominent faces of Indian chess. He is one of the reasons why India is dominating the world. And it's been quite the year for the 18-year-old. That started by beating world number 1 Magnus Carlsen and world champion Ding Liren, followed it up with a candidates tournament win, and capped the year so far by staying unbeaten at the Chess Olympiad. So when India won gold at the Olympiad, Gukesh decided to celebrate it in style. A dancing Gukesh, that's quite a rare sight, because Gukesh has hardly shown this side of his to the world. At the Chess Olympiad too, he skipped the historic Bermuda party that takes place at the midpoint of the tournament. Imagine a teenager giving a party a skip. While some of the Indian players like Vidit Gujarati and Arjun Erikaisai chose to attend the party, Gukesh decided only to focus on the rest of the tournament. And now we know why. Not letting his focus drop till the teams wrapped up the goals. And that's when he decided to surprise everyone by breaking the internet. That's Gukesh's transition from Guki to Pookie, which is why even his teammate Vidit Gujarati was shocked, because just like the fans, even Vidit did not see this coming. And who knows, maybe there is more in store in the years to come. Gukesh has not revealed all his cards just yet, like the true chess champ he is. Right after India won the Chess Olympiad, Gukesh along with the women's team member Tanya Sachdev recreated the iconic Rohit Sharma walk from the T20 World Cup. That was just the teaser that Gukesh was giving us, and maybe his celebration style tells us there is more where that came from. But the one thing we do know is what Gukesh likes to do before a game more than what he does after.
Well, I try to find a simple routine and I do that every day. I mean, it's not something that it's some genius thing or anything, but just simple things over a period of time just puts you in the right rhythm.
Now maybe shaking a leg after a memorable win is what Gukesh likes to do after, and jiving to popular superstar Rajnikant's new single was just the perfect way to cap off what a nearly perfect year it's been for him. It's not just the dance that shocked the fans. Gukesh wore a proper attire to go the whole hog. Just like his chess matches, he was fully prepared for the dance reel too. He did all the homework before posting it on the internet. With the World Championship final approaching, maybe this is his way to blow off some steam. And a warning sign for Ding Legend that just like icons Rajnikant and Rohit Sharma, Gukesh is here to create some legacy of his own too.
Time for last serve. We always talk of age being one of the biggest hurdles for anyone indulging in any form of competitive sport or adventure sport. Here's 62-year-old Alain Robert defying all odds. A French citizen whose pet project is climbing skyscrapers. Watch Robert climb a 190-meter building near Paris. One thing's for sure, the view would be stunning from up top if you manage to get there, that is. But that wraps up First Sports here for us. Thanks for joining in. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.